SEC from issuing, together with the BOJ actually, issuing indiscriminate notices to the public about its operations, especially when most of these do not reflect the facts on the ground. So they wanted one court to restrain the SEC from doing any of these issuance of notices. Two, to stop them from interfering in the performance of their duties, which they say the SEC was not in the position to regulate because, of course, there was some arbitrage that made it close to impossible for SEC, BOG, or the Minerals Commission all to have the same competence in determining how they run as an institution. Then they moved on to ask the court to restrain them from all of these actions. Then the court to also say that they don't fall under the SEC. Now, the court first, and there was a preliminary objection raised by the lawyers of the SEC that said that, but there's a procedure established in law. That procedure said you should deal with us first, exhaust the procedure with us before you can go to court. My lord, they didn't do that. They just jumped to the court because they were seeking refuge under the big emblem of the court to try and force us into a decision that we've not discussed prior to this. We've asked them to give us specific information, and them in this case is Menzgold.
Okay.
We've asked the people there to give us specific information. We asked them to do specific things. They are refusing and failing, and now coming to you to ask you to intervene in a matter that we've not completely exhausted. Now, the court said, well, it's true, there's a procedure in law. So go back, deal with the procedure in law, exhaust that procedure. If you still have many grievances that you think that procedure could not resolve, you then come back to the court. So it was that procedural basis. That's why the court threw out the case of Menzgold. But you should know that this is impetus for SEC and the other groupings that were dealing with Menzgold, because Menzgold bypassed them for a reason. Menzgold, even though he had indicated prior to that he was in the position to engage them, it also felt that let me go to court and establish our status once and for all, so that all of these institutions will stop harassing us. Now, the SEC has the right to go in again. Perhaps do what we've been asking it to do for God knows how long. Because when the SEC issued that directive, the directive that stated categorically that please stop this level of operation. In fact, it came back to clarify that we have never asked them to stop paying dividends and other things to their clients.
They asked them to stop taking new contracts.
Very good. Fresh deposits, taking on new engagements in this particular case. So that is where the difficulty came in. And we cannot ignore the fact that that is where the woes of Menzgold actually started.
Yes. And my difficulty, Raymond, as I read earlier, is that it is our understanding of the law, and we read it during the news review. I'm going to bring that back to you in a second. Section 1232 of Act 929, which is the Securities Industries Act, it authorizes the SEC to ensure that and make sure that any person who is engaging in this kind of business without a license pays back those monies. And that is strike law, as some like to call it. I'm going to read it, the exact thing, so that we can understand exactly where we are coming from. And it says here, a person who without a license. Okay, so I was looking at the Minerals and Mining Act, rather. The laws have become a lot on my phone. Okay, yes, power to reprimand or disqualify. That's section 123. Now, the commission may, with respect to a present or past licensee or a person who is a present or past officer, shareholder, or controller of a license, issue a warning, issue a public censure, disqualify a licensee from holding a license or a license of a specified kind for a specified period. Now, in all these licenses that they are talking about, is a license to engage in a raft of businesses which are, regulated by the SEC. I'm going to go to subsection 2 of section 123, where the commission is satisfied that a person has obtained monies without a license or contrary to the terms of the license of the person, the commission shall in writing instruct that person to repay all monies obtained and the profits accruing to that person. B. Return assets acquired as a result of the illegally obtained deposits or monies. Or C. Pay any interest or other amounts which may be owed by that person in respect of those monies to the respective persons from whom the monies were obtained. This is instructive for a reason. I'm going to take you back, Raymond, to the actual letter that the SEC wrote. So the SEC, when they were writing the letter, they had come to certain, how should I put it? They had come to certain conclusions and they had come to certain observations. And that is what, if I can use the expression, empowered them to ask the Menzgold to stop doing some actions. It says that the Securities and Exchanges Commission, SEC, is a statutory establishment. Now, this letter is dated 7th September 2018. For a lot of people, this is the letter that blew it wide open.
Yes.
It is from this point, when this letter became public, that's Menzgold officially said that, okay, so they cannot continue payment of dividend, and then SEC went to say we did not ask them to stop paying dividend, right? So let me read this to you. SEC is a statutory establishment which, under Section 3 of the Securities Industries Act 2016, Act 929, has inter alia the mandate to maintain surveillance over activities in securities, to ensure orderly, fair, and equitable dealings in securities, and to register, license, authorized, or regulate market operators in accordance with Act 929. Now, the SEC has keenly followed and investigated the operations of Menzgold Ghana Limited, hereinafter referred to as Menzgold, since 2017, including paying a working visit to the head office of the company on 23rd August 2018. Remember, on the timeline that we were talking about yesterday, this visit was dated. Now, some officials of the SEC visited there, and they further tried to understand the operations of the company, and a meeting was held with Minister Nanaya Ofe, commercial manager, and Reverend Derek Akubia, an advisor to the CEO. The interactions with Mr. Ofe and Reverend Derek Akubia confirmed to SEC, listen, the view that the aspect of Menzgold's business, which involves the purchase or deposits of gold collectibles from the public and contracts issued with the guaranteed returns with clients, is a capital markets activity. That is the understanding of the SEC. He said issuance of gold-backed depository notes. So, for instance, when you go to Brew Marketing, you give them money, you buy your gold. When you go to Menzgold, you give them the gold. They give you a document or a note. This is what they are calling a gold-backed depository note to the public. Under Act 929, without a valid license issued by the SEC, is contrary to Section 109 of Act 929, with consequences under Section 2061 of the same Act. Now, what they have done here is they've limited themselves, Raymond, to the penalties, because if you look in Section 206, and of course I am not a lawyer, but the lawyers will educate us to know that if you look in Section 206, okay, that is the punishment. So if you do this, this happens to you. If you do this, this happens to you. But I am curious as to why they did not look in the same Act 929 and look in Section 123 at this point to say that, Raymond, instead of asking them, as they did in this letter, to stop paying dividends, or to stop taking new contracts, why didn't they ask them at that point to immediately begin paying everyone back their principals?
And again, why didn't they, if they can't take over, why didn't they go in there to shut them down and begin that process themselves? Why didn't they take steps which would make it impossible for somebody at that point in time to make any changes, take out money, make sure that they are will be done that will not be in the interest of the customers? In fact, at some point in time, we should not only see these customers as people who have engaged some form of investment which might not be in good taste. We should see them equally as Ghanaians. So if the SEC was doing consumer protection duties, why was it not in the interest? Because you saw how the banks were, taking over and changed.
Yes.
It was swift.
It was very swift.
We woke up one morning, we knew the decision would be happening. By the time you go there, they are even changing what they call it.
In fact, even with Heritage Bank,
yes,
you know that as of the Tuesday that Mrs. Elsie Aduawaji came here to the studio, they were ready to let all Heritage Bank customers go to any branch of CBG across the country.
Brilliant.
As of 2 p.m. on Tuesday. So when we want to act quickly, we can act.
We have done so before.
Now, the SEC says here in this letter that the SEC hereby directs Menzgold Company Limited to shut down immediately the business of trading in gold collectibles with guaranteed returns to clients, which constitutes in essence dealing in securities with neither the necessary license nor disclosures authorized by the SEC. It says here, no new contracts should be created and all advertising of the investments business halted with immediate effect. Now it says failure to comply with this directive will lead to the SEC employing other relevant measures under the law to enforce compliance. It says this directive does not preclude you from continuing your other businesses of assaying, purchasing gold, from small-scale miners and export of gold. Now, from that point, it became clear because Menzgold came out later to say that because of this, they cannot pay dividend.
Yeah.
And SEC later came to say that we have not told you not to pay dividend. Now, my difficulty is that when I read section 123 of the same Act 929,
that's quoted by SEC.
That is quoted by SEC. Section 123 says that where the commission is satisfied that a person has obtained monies without a license or in contrary to the terms of the license of the person, so without a license. Now, SEC said in the letter, remember they said that you are engaging in a capital market activity and you don't have a license. So stop taking new contracts. It says here, the commission shall in writing instruct that person to repay all the monies obtained and the profits according to that person.
So there's not even a contradiction as to whether or not you wait till some time or not. You shall, as a mandatory, proceed to act immediately when you establish, as you have established in your letter to the institution in this case. So the big question remains, why didn't they do so at the time? Why did they have to allow everything to become murky? People will now make demands. Then we are told the man is somewhere abroad, seeking, among other things, to raise monies for people here in the country. He's a wanted man. How would you raise money to a country where they declared you a wanted man?
And you see, the reason why we are asking why did they not do this, in case we may have some controversy out there, is that the point B says that you should ask them to return assets acquired as a result of the illegally obtained monies or deposits, which when you read tells you that, and of course the lawyers will explain to you that this means that all the properties that when you got your profits from Menzgold you bought. So if as of the 7th of September, we could have done this and made them return, liquidate the assets possibly and return the monies, Raymond, then maybe today we won't be talking about the problem of people allegedly emptying their accounts.
That's true.
Or us talking about property somewhere that they are saying that we didn't buy them, we have rented them.
And again, Menzgold customers wouldn't be out on the streets seeking what naturally would have gone to them if the SEC had taken over all of these assets. Because why? I can't trust the SEC to do a proper distribution or redistribution of the resources in this particular case. Than now we are unclear in our minds whether or not we find any peswa. We are also unclear in our minds if the accounts we are seeking to freeze exist in the first place or they still have some assets in there. Now, you've also heard people say that, well, even the properties, he didn't buy them. He didn't acquire them. He actually was a lease to him for a period of time, very short period of time. We have seen notices where Menzgold offices and related company offices have actually been rebranded as we speak. You saw what's being shared on social media and the other places where what signs on these boards, buildings are being changed. Assuming they are affected and we later on struggle to trace them. And if there are even leases in the first place, all that it tells you is that we would find it very difficult in the next few months, years or also so, to get every single person. Let's not forget, when DKM collapsed, when Justa and all the other groupings collapsed, there was something clear. We walked in to sell assets because we could lay hands on some of these assets. What we're hearing is more difficult for us to conclude that we could equally be in a bold position to say we are going to sell these assets. If not so, we may have to rely on the individuals involved. The man, we are told, is out there looking for money. Assuming he's unable to raise the huge amount of money that some of these customers have quoted as how much they are put in there, what happens to what the customers are demanding? And let's be clear, I think the crux of the statements of the people who are actually on the streets is, we want our money.
Exactly. Raymond, let me go and speak with one of these customers on the line right now. He is Samuel Odate, Secretary to Aggrieved Customers of Menzgold, Greater Accra. Mr. Odate, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, sir.
Before we go ahead with our conversation, the PRO for Menzgold, the company which your monies are lodged with, is Niama Matefio. Yesterday he spoke with us on Top Story. Let's take a listen to a bit of what he said and then we'll come back and continue the conversation.
At this point in time, we have no option than to pay the customers, and we are working around the clock to make sure that we get money to pay. It has not been easy as a company for us. It's been difficult, it's been turbulent, but we are not resting on our oars at this point in time. All CEOs of...
He's traveled.
He has traveled outside the shores of Ghana, and it is working to make sure that he gets money to come and pay our customers. Is the money here? Can we get the money here?
You should tell me. Your customers want to know.
If a CEO has traveled to go outside and work and make money and come and pay our customers. May I know what is wrong with that?
You're telling me and your customers that your CEO has now gone out of the shores of this country to go and work and get money to come and pay the customers. Is that what you're saying?
You are saying that our boss has abandoned us. And I'm telling you that it's not true. He hasn't abandoned us.
And that's Niama Amatefio, he's PRO for Menzgold. Mr. Odate, thanks again for joining us. When you hear the PRO for Menzgold saying that Mr. Nana Pia Mensah has traveled and he's working to get the money to pay you back, does that give you any assurance?
That PRO is a pathological liar. You see, nobody should trust that PRO. He himself doesn't have any information. He sit down for something to say in the public so that the public will believe that they are working to pay us.
Mr. Odate, it will be unfair to make statements like pathological liar and the fact that he has no information. This is PRO of a company that you have reposed your trust in. Let's take a step back.
Okay.
Has the PRO given you any reason not to believe him in the past? What are those specific reasons?
A lot of times when we met several times with the PRO. He will say A today, tomorrow he will say B. And so we don't trust that PRO anymore. He himself told us Menzgold doesn't have a communication outlet until he came in. And so normally some of the things he say are something he tried to polish so that we, the customers, will understand the company. He's a liar. We met him several times.
Let's not do that.
Mr. Host, please. We met.
You can make your point without calling Niama Amatefio a liar. Excuse me. You see, Mr. Odate, please. We all have our jobs in this little circle, and we all have to do what we have to do. It's my job right now to ensure that the right words go on air. So please, you cannot go ahead by saying those words. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I withdraw that. But we can't trust him. Whatever he's saying, we can't trust him. Because he has made several promises to us. None of the promises was fulfilled. And that is why I use that word. But we can't trust him. So we don't believe whatever he's saying. We don't believe him. We don't believe.
Which promises did he make in the past?
We met him several times. We gave them petition. They told us they will respond to us on the 7th of December. They couldn't bring any press release out. All the press release they brought out was to their workers to go on leave and come on the 20th December for their Christmas party. You see, and up to now, no press release from Menzgold has come to us, we the client. And you want me to believe this PRO?
But that's all. Isn't that all we have at this point? He's saying that, look, Mr. Nana Pia Mensah is working to get your money for you.
Working where? Why is it difficult for the CEO himself to speak to his clients as a good CEO when it comes to the West? You, the CEO, you have to speak yourself to your clients so we believe what you are saying. You don't use PRO who doesn't know what he's saying. You don't use PRO who doesn't know what it's about. He said this today, the next day he will say different things. And we can't trust the PRO. Saying Nana Pia is outside working. Since when? Since when? From September 12th. That this thing happened. He's still working. And you bring schedules out to pay. You don't go by them. You turn around, took 5% from people that you are migrating them to online platform. That one too couldn't work. And you want us to believe what you are saying. It's a host. We don't believe in it. And all we are saying is that governments have the power to make sure he brings the guy down, the CEO, Nana Pia, down. Let the law deal with him so that they put structures in place and pay our money to us. Those things on the airways that the government won't pay. We didn't say government should use taxpayers' money to pay us from day one. No client of Menzgold said government should use his taxpayers' money to pay us. That wasn't the issue. You said the person is doing illegal business. What is preventing you not arresting the person who is doing illegal business and deal with him according to the law. And you wait till 2019 and you said you have issued bench warrant to bring the guy down. A lot of us are going through emotional, psychological trauma. People are dying. And the government will say, we are not going to use taxpayers' money to pay. We didn't say they should use taxpayers' money to pay us. We said they have power to bring the guy down, so the law deal with the guy.
Okay. You've made that point clear. Mr. Odate, whilst government was issuing these releases, whilst your money was there, did you know that this was an illegal business?
We never... You see, BOG will come out. Menzgold will rebut her. Then BOG will not say anything again. For so many months. Then they come out again. The guy will come out and respond to BOG. And BOG will not say anything. But as a state institution who has the power backing you, and you know what the guy is doing is illegal, why do you have to go and sit down, sleep, and when the guy rebuts her, you will not say anything. Then you just say, I want the public. You want the public of what? If you want your children at home not to go and do something dangerous, and they go to do the thing, and you say, because I warn you, I will not attend to you, my children. Is that how?
But Mr. Odate, you are not a child. Neither are the other customers of Menzgold. So yes, it's a good analogy to say, but really, you knew well what was happening. You've confirmed here that you heard these publications, and because, for instance, at a point, Nana Piamisa tweeted back at BOG a tweet which he apologized for. You call those rebuttals something solid enough to stand on to keep hard-earned cash with Menzgold?
You know, every investment has an agreement. Maybe I put in my investment for, say, 6 months. And the first month or 2 months, this thing came out. You want me to go and take my investment back. I may even lose all the money. Because when you are going to take your investment back, the guy, and it is not matured, he's going to take 25% out of your money. That was in the agreement. So maybe you are waiting that the thing will mature and then you just go out from the investment.
But now you stand a chance of losing 100% of your money.
What do we do? But the guy is saying our investments are safe. If he continues to say that, what do you as a government do? When you keep on saying your investments are safe, bring the guy down. If he said our investments are safe, let him pay us. That's all we are saying. We are not saying government pay us with your taxpayers' money. We have never said anywhere. So this government, you watch the way they speak to we, the victimized. We are down already, and you are still hitting us. We are also citizens. If we go wrong, you don't have to be hitting us. You do the right thing to help your citizens. We are not saying pay us with your taxpayers' money.
Yes, now there are a few curious elements of the nature in which you were doing business with Menzgold that have come to light recently. I want to try and confirm that with you. When you went to buy, did you buy the gold from Brew Marketing and go to Menzgold to give it to them, or you simply went to Menzgold and gave them your money?
No. Before me, I went to make inquiries at Menzgold. And I even queried them about this BOG thing. And they said they have sorted out everything with BOG. So they direct me to Brew Marketing. I went there with my cash. They gave me gold. And then I bring it back to Menzgold. And then they will charge you a service fee. On each pound is 100 cedis. So when you buy 2 pounds, you pay 200 as service charge. So we didn't send cash to Menzgold. You go to Brew Marketing.
Did you take the cash to Brew Marketing, or you paid at the bank?
Yes. You send it to Brew Marketing. You send the money to Brew Marketing.
And when you gave them the money over the counter, they gave you the gold?
Yeah, they give you the gold with a receipt. Then you send the gold and the receipt to Menzgold.
And this was a purely cash transaction. So, for instance, when your interest was being paid at the end of the month, you didn't get it in a bank account. You went to take it over the counter?
Yes, over the counter. Over the counter. Nobody
At
was paid
Menzgold.
through. At Menzgold. Nobody was paid through bank draft or anything.
Did that alone not look curious to you? The fact that you are dealing with such an established financial institution, and with most banks, with most investment houses, the money is forwarded to a bank account. This time you were going over the counter and you were receiving huge sums of money.
And that was the arrangement they had with us. And so, whether they pay through bank or over the counter, you still receive your money. So we don't find it curious or something like that.
Were there any deductions in terms of taxes? And someone is asking me on the text console if you ever paid any taxes. Did you hear of any deductions on the profits you made?
When I received my dividend,
yes,
I sent my dividend to the bank. I sent it to the bank.
No, I'm asking that, were there any deductions on your dividend or your principal at any point? Yes, from Menzgold for taxes or anything of the sort?
No. If it is 10%, they give no deduction of any taxes or any whatsoever. No deduction of taxes.
Anyway, so there's another point that government raised in a statement that, and of course this is mainly directed as the NDC, but we've heard some customers of Menzgold make the point that their credibility for NAM1 was really lent to them by notable figures like the president, who took pictures with him and showed that this was a man who was accepted by many key officials in Ghana. They say this was not something to be followed. The president simply greeted NAM1 when he came to visit him in some delegation, and it does not mean that the president sort of endorsed NAM1's business.
You see, we don't want to, but if you find a CEO who have a link with all these big men in the country, so-called big men, our president, Otumfuo, ex-president Kufuor, chief imam, and all those things, you trust that what the guy is doing is genuine. You have the bull boss in town, even airport, he has his advertising space at the airport. So, you see, when you see all these things, you have confidence in what the guy is doing. And what made us more to be confident is anytime you go for your dividend, he pays you a dividend. He never defaulted on it. So he has built that trust in the public that he can pay any amount. And so that is what happened.
Okay.
But the government to say he doesn't know NAM1, it's a little bit, you don't want me to use that word, but we don't trust that. We don't trust that. We learn he has sponsored the campaign and all those things. You see, but government that is in power, they will rebut and then they will say they doesn't know that guy, but they knew the guy. They knew the guy. And government, you have the technical people who advise the BOG to do three things. Why didn't they do the remaining two? They took one step. The remaining two steps, they refused to do it.
Which two steps are you referring to?
They thought the technical people advised them before they shut down Menzgold. They should make sure investors, these investments are protected, and then make sure they prosecute the guy. Why do they close him down, and the remaining two they refuse to do it until now?
Thank you, Samuel Odate, for joining us this morning. He's a secretary of the aggrieved Menzgold customers in the Greater Accra region. Still listening to the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's 20 minutes past 8. We are going to bring you the full conversation that MFR Powell had with Niama Amatefio, PRO for Menzgold. We're going to bring that to you in a moment, but that comes up after this. Stay with us.
I wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and I got bills that I have to pay. Now you're running late, running out of time. Feels like the world is waiting in line. All you gotta do is pick up the phone and just dial 737. So whatever you do, whoever you are, there is an easy way for everyone. The simple life is just one touch away. Experience the magic starting today. And it all begins with
see, I don't need to write or cash a check. I don't need data or internet. I have something that's faster than a jet. Just like
what are you talking about? You could be a palm wine topper, a teacher, a rapper, a schoolboy, or a school girl, or a trader, a bank MD, a chairman, or a baker.
Guaranteed Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Hello, I say, how did you know? Vodafone normal 10 megabyte free data. It will call Smart Rubiadron. Share.
Hello, have you heard that Vodafone is giving 10 megabyte free data for every minute you talk? You just dial 50-50.
Yeah, hello? Aha! Right now, with the Vodafone people, just they can call plenty. Sake of us, you talk 1 minute, you go get 10 megabytes. You talk 2 minutes, you go get 20 megabytes. 3 minutes.
Call Vodafone or any network and get 10 megabytes of free data every minute you talk. It's simple. Talk to browse. The more you talk, the more data you get. Dial 50-50 to subscribe. Talk more, browse more. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Would you buy a blade that doesn't cut? How about a freezer that doesn't cool enough to freeze? And what of medicine that wouldn't cure you or take your pain away?
No way.
So why would you buy a mattress that does not provide you with good quality sleep and rest? As humans, we spend about a third of our lives in bed. Since you are going to spend that much time, wouldn't you rather be lying on a mattress that is clean and just right for your body? Be smart. Treat yourself well. Don't spend 1/3 of your life sleeping on the wrong mattress. Or else, you do yourself. Latest Foam, your partner for life.
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
Super Morning Show.
24 minutes past 8 here on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. I am Daniel Daze. We've been joined on the line by Pius Enam Hajide. He's Deputy Information Minister, and he's here to clarify some of the points made in the government statement that was released yesterday. Good morning, Mr. Hajide. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. Thanks for having me.
So, in a nutshell, what's government's official position on Menzgold?
Well, our position on Menzgold is that we sympathize with the customers on the difficulties that they have encountered in their transactions with the company. But we also want to inform that government has not taken any such decision as to resort to the use of taxpayers' money to refund such customers' money that arguably has gotten into some challenges. And so that is the crux of the matter.
I'm quoting your statement. It says that government had, the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchanges Commission, SEC, had on numerous occasions over the years warned customers of Menzgold to desist from investing monies in the company as it was not a licensed deposit or asset management companies. In all of these instances, the company and indeed some of these customers responded with explanations that were not in the business of deposit or assets taken, but were rather a gold trading firm. Now, we know that Section 20 of the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act 930, authorizes the Bank of Ghana to, on the basis of a mere suspicion of someone engaging in illegal deposit taking, it authorizes the Bank of Ghana to go in, close down the activity immediately, and begin investigations. Why was this not done in the past?
Well, we cannot speak for the entire past, as the operations of Menzgold began even before the resumption of office of this current administration. I can confirm to you that during the short stay in office of this current administration, particular attention was paid to the banking sector in general, and this includes the Menzgold. Investigations were conducted by both the Security and Exchanges Commission and the Bank of Ghana, and that has led to some action in respect of Menzgold's deposit-taking activities. And so that is why the situation as of now is that the Security and Exchanges Commission has put a hold on the operations of Menzgold with respect to this particular kind of practice. But I cannot speak to why in earlier dispensations swift action was not taken.
I'm sure you can speak to why on the 19th of July 2017, the Bank of Ghana issued another caution letter to the company to desist from taking further deposits. This is when Men's Bank with a C changed its name to Menzgold and informed the BOG of its subsidiary by the name Brew Marketing Limited, where clients were directed to go and purchase the gold and deposit it with Menzgold for dividend. At that time, the Bank of Ghana was of the belief that Men's Bank with a C was taking deposits. It still did not apply Section 20 of Act 930. How come?
Well, I will not purport to speak for the Bank of Ghana on this matter. My understanding is that these were matters that were still being interrogated, and the Bank of Ghana was busy involved in investigations at their own level. They even had to do some window shopping to establish solid evidence to their suspicion and the allegations that were made. And at the time that the Bank of Ghana, in my understanding, had convinced itself that Menzgold was acting in contravention of the law and that evidence could be adduced, the Security and Exchanges Commission had to move in to do the needful by putting a hold on their activities. Maybe this could have happened earlier on if attention to detail was paid from the very beginning.
I understand that you don't speak for the Bank of Ghana, but referencing your statements, which was signed by the Honorable Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah yesterday, you put on record what the regulators of the nation's financial services sector, namely the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchanges Commission, SEC, did. You place that on record, and then based on that, you go ahead and you make a statement sympathizing with customers and dissociating the president from the person #1, which is why I'm referencing this. And in the past, you have said just in this conversation, of course, that you could not say what happened in the past, but you feel that the best was done. However, after this government took office in 2017, we still saw warnings being issued. After this government took office in 2017, we saw that the BOG had clearly taken a position. And if you look at the nature of the public notices that were issued somewhere around 2017, this was not a Bank of Ghana which had any doubt in its mind whether or not a Menzgold was taking part in illegal deposit taking. This was a Bank of Ghana which was clear in its mind that Menzgold was taking part in illegal deposit taking, and they were warning the public not to take their monies there. The question is, the bank had more power than warnings. Why did they not apply that power?
Well, like I intimated to you earlier on, my understanding was that the bank had to go through a process of establishing a solid case. And this is not an event, it is a process. I am very much convinced that at the time that the bank was convinced that they had established a strong case, the regulators, the SEC, had to move in and do the needful. What point has to be stressed, however, is that as far back as in April of 2016, such warnings and such advices had been made public. And we would have expected that people who wanted to do business with the Menzgold company would have paid some attention to the warnings of the regulator. But we were all witnesses to some level of intransigence, both from Menzgold and from sections of its potential clientele. And so, we may have to look at the both sides of the coin. But that is the situation, and we can all attest to it.
Mr. Hajide, I'm curious here, but when the Bank of Ghana issued the warning, and these warnings were very clear in their wording that Menzgold is taking part, or Men's Bank at the time, or whatever the name of the organization was at the time, was engaging in illegal deposit taking. Which part of this shows that the Bank of Ghana had not established, or it was not even suspicious that there was something illegal going on?
Well, I made the point earlier that could we make the point that maybe action could have taken earlier? I mean, maybe not. I do not. We can interrogate those positions. But the point that I'm making is that this matter that you just referred to, these were matters that were forcefully contradicted by Menzgold, and Menzgold even had to proceed to court in some instances. And so these were matters that I believe that the regulators would have been minded to do some more work on. But at the end of the day, at the time that the regulators felt that they needed to take some drastic action to the extent of putting a hold on the operations of Menzgold in respect to the illegal deposit taking and so on and so forth, they did take that decision. So as we speak now, that part of the operations of Menzgold has been put on hold.
Well, this action was taken by the Securities and Exchanges Commission, which we'll come to in a moment. But just to finish on this issue of the Bank of Ghana, it says in Section 21 of the Act 930 that where the Bank of Ghana has sufficient reason to believe that a person is transacting or carrying on a deposit-taking business or taking deposits in contravention of Section 6, the Bank of Ghana may, in writing, authorize an officer of the Bank of Ghana to perform the functions under subsections 2 and 3, which subsections I'm reading for you now. The officer may, I'm going to just skip down to subsection G, close down the business of the person referred to in subsection 1. It's just curious that the Bank of Ghana had sufficient reason to believe that the Menzgold was engaging in illegal deposits taking, and so warned the public, but they could not close down the business. However, the question I really have is that, when you go to the SEC's governing law, which the SEC quoted copiously when they were asking the Bank of Menzgold to stop engaging in new contracts, section 123, subsection 2 says, where the commission is satisfied that a person has obtained monies without a license, and I'm on the SEC because it's because of the SEC's action that we are where we are, contrary to the terms of the license of the person, the commission shall in writing instruct that person to repay all monies obtained, return assets acquired, and pay any interest or other monies. I'm paraphrasing here. So when is the SEC expected to do this? When should we expect the SEC to take this action?
Well, I will be surprised that such communication has not already gone out. I am on my way to the office. I can double check, but my understanding is that these are processes that the SEC has been through already, and that is why the interrogation of this matter and the way to get the resolution of this matter may have been a little protracted. I think that it is clear in our minds that the SEC has engaged with Menzgold with a view to getting them to align to the dictates of the law. And so, ordinarily, my understanding is that in the attempt of the SEC to get Menzgold to align to the dictates of the law, all these relevant aspects of the law to which you make reference were brought to the attention of Menzgold.
Okay.
And it was out of failure of Menzgold to, as it were, comply with some of these directives that the SEC has had to take the penultimate decision of having to put the operations on hold.
Mr. Hajide, let's take a step back. This action that was taken by the SEC on the 7th of September 2018, according to the letter that I had before me, that the SEC rose to Menzgold, the SEC asked Menzgold to stop engaging in new contracts. That is, to stop taking on new customers.
Which was not listened to, which advice was not listened to.
It was on the 7th of September when Menzgold...
I'm just giving you a small addendum that which direction was disregarded.
No, the 7th of September direction was regarded. In fact, Menzgold overdid themselves. And they said that because of this letter from the SEC, they are not even required to pay dividends to their customers. And then the SEC said they have not asked them not to pay dividend. I'm referring to the 7th of September 2018.
Yeah, but that was not the instruction. The instruction was that not to take on new clients.
Yes, which is fine.
Payment of dividend.
Which is fine. The question we are asking here is that the Commission has established under this same law that Menzgold is operating without a license. The law asks the Commission to ensure that this person repays all the monies at that time, repays the monies, returns the assets, pays the interest as well. But from 7th September till now, the SEC stopped at, and according to the SEC, informing IOCO, informing the Attorney General, and asking them to stop taking on new business. We've seen no publication that the SEC has asked Menzgold to pay back their customers.
Well, I have spoken to that matter already and have said that the SEC has engaged with Menzgold severally to find a resolution to this matter.
So do you have, will you be able to...
that in their engagement with Menzgold, all the relevant provisions of the law to which you make
reference to
have been brought to the attention of Menzgold, and that includes the section that you just read.
So are you saying here that the SEC has directed Menzgold to pay back customers their monies, return assets, and pay back interests as well?
Unless the suggestion you want to make to me is that that is not an injunction in the relevant portions of the law.
No, you see,
I will repeat myself and I will say to you that...
No, Mr. Hajide, please. Mr. Hajide, please, respectfully.
The engagement of the SEC with Menzgold, all the relevant injunctions of the law which Menzgold ought to apply themselves to were brought to their attention.
Mr. Hajide, with the greatest of respect, when the SEC wrote the letter to Menzgold, that letter became public record. Nowhere in that letter does it state the laws that I have quoted to you. In fact, those letters, excuse me, please let me finish. Those letters state sections 109 and sections 206 of the Securities Industries Act. I'm quoting section 123. And you are saying that in the ongoing engagement with Menzgold, SEC has followed 123. Now, in that letter, the SEC also stated that in their previous visits, they simply wanted to familiarize themselves with the operations of Menzgold. No reference has been made till date that the SEC has issued a directive as a commission to Menzgold to ask them to repay their monies. And you see, I'm asking this question because Menzgold, even in their repayment, is paying according to their contractual agreement with their customers. And so they are not paying them all the monies. The law actually requires that they not only pay the monies, they retain assets and they pay interests, which is why I'm asking that has the SEC, according to section 123, subsection 2, instructed Menzgold to retain assets, pay back interests, and pay principal?
Well, I think that there's a simple way to resolve this matter. We can ask of the SEC to make public all their engagement with the Menzgold.
So you are unable to tell us now?
I know that there were both written and verbal engagements with Menzgold. But I think that the point I get from your question is that all such such engagements, all such instructions, all such advices, all such directives that were given to Menzgold should be made public for the generality of the people to know exactly what role the SEC played. And I think that it may be a fair proposition. We can let the SEC do that.
So you are unable to tell us for a fact if these instructions were given?
Well, I am able to tell you for a fact that in its engagement with Menzgold, the SEC brought to the attention of Menzgold all the relevant portions of the law which Menzgold ought to have applied itself to.
I'm asking about only one section of the law.
And I'm talking about all the sections of the law.
And you are able to provide this evidence to show that the SEC asked them to repay all the monies as of 7 September 2018.
Well, those are your words.
No, I am asking. It's a question. I'm not making a categorical statement. It's a question. Sorry if it didn't sound that way.
Well, I answered earlier and I said that we can get the SEC to publicize all the engagements.
That's fine.
Do that. It's not a difficulty.
That's fine. Parasena Hajide, thanks for joining us. He's Deputy Information Minister. It's 17 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. All right. Raymond, we just heard the Deputy Information Minister saying that he believes that the SEC, well, he stated categorically that the SEC followed all the legal requirements. Mm-hmm. And so proof of same should be made public by the SEC. It means we have a visit to the SEC to make.
It looks like that, but there's something that bothers me about the stance in this particular case. I mean, I get government saying that Menzgold is purely contractual and that therefore it's private. But the key reason they give for it in the statement is that, and I'm quoting, Menzgold was not licensed by BOG or SEC, and its operations were not regulated by the BOG or SEC. The logic in this statement suggests that a regulatory agency only regulates the persons that it has already licensed, so that those that it has not licensed do not fall under its regulatory authority. I mean, I have a problem with this logic. You regulate space, the people that operate in them. If you are convinced the person is operating in the space and doesn't have a license, it doesn't mean you don't regulate the person. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Again, the regulatory agencies do not regulate licensed persons only. They regulate the activities within the space in this case.
Yeah.
So the critical question is simple. I mean, regulation in theory is not whether the person performing the activity is licensed. That's the point I'm seeking to make.
Yeah.
It's not when you think that the person has failed to turn up, because I'm sure that virtually all institutions would want to be licensed so they can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So that they'll give you the excuse that I was not licensed by your institution, so you cannot regulate my engagements. That is where the problem will be. Now, one other thing you have to take into consideration, which activity is the person performing? And do those activities fall within the scope of that regulator's authority? Mm-hmm. That's the most important question. We have established by the various laws we've read today that indeed SEC established that it has regulatory authority to some limit. We have also established that the Minerals Commission thought that the people were going to buy and sell gold, so it gave them some permit to do that.
Yeah, we didn't even come to the Minerals and Mining Act.
Yes, and the explicit determination of that is that according to the Bank of Ghana, it was only Menzgold out of the many licensed institutions which was not using the license to buy and sell gold for its purpose.
Yeah.
Again, regulatory regime established and determined, and an abuse established in there. So I get worried when I get this point that, we didn't regulate it, as was stated in the statement from the ministry, so therefore we cannot be held responsible for its actions. When indeed you are supposed to be telling us that they breached the regulation regime and that we were acting on that. Indeed, we have acted because, and the law is pretty clear on that. Why the minister is unable to tell you categorically that we applied this specific section of the law is because it didn't happen. If it happened, sorry.
That's unfair.
No, the sequence. Listen,
that's unfair. That's unfair.
See, I'm saying that the sequence is pretty clear to us. Uh-huh. The SEC has told us what they have done and what they were able to do. It's not as if the SEC really had gone in to stop Menzgold from doing what they were doing today, or the time that it issued a statement, we would have known that in this country. Don't not hide it from you. Because
You
they have
have a
to.
point.
Yes.
So you have a point, but it's still a stretch. It's okay.
Not,
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's not strange. So I mean, and I sometimes I'm not excited when the facts are there. The sequence is pretty much excited. If you say you tell the SEC to publish and tell us exactly all the things they have done today, what is outstanding? All the statement that the SEC issued, what is put before court on the matter, we know that.
Raymond, it's okay. Let's talk about relationships. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, let's talk about love. We are going to take these important messages. This is still a Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. When we come back, we are going to move to our big relationship debates for the Friday, which is who controls the money in a relationship? Should it be the man or the woman? Should it be the one who is more educated? Should it be the one who earns more? Should it be the one who is more experienced? We'll come back and I'll introduce you to my crack panel in the blue corner and in the red corner. Stay with us. This is the Super Morning Show.
For 5 long years, it's been with you, pumping smoke all along the road with 100